Have you ever wondered if economic stimulus is a lifesaver or a time bomb waiting to explode? Now, let's take a moment to unpack this. Economic stimulus, in all its complexity, is essentially a series of measures taken by governments to boost their economy. It's like a shot of adrenaline injected directly into the economic veins of a nation, hoping to jolt it back into action. Think of it as a financial defibrillator, starting the heart of an economy on the brink. Remember the CARES Act in the United States in 2020? A staggering $2.2 trillion package designed to breathe life back into an economy suffocating under the weight of a global pandemic. But here's the catch. Like any emergency measure, it's a quick fix. It's an immediate solution to a pressing problem. So, economic stimulus can be an immediate solution, but what about the long-term effects? Let's delve deeper. Inflation, a term that strikes fear into the hearts of investors. But why? Well, let's unravel this mystery. Inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising. It's like an invisible tax that erodes your purchasing power. When inflation rises, every dollar you own buys a smaller percentage of a good or service. The causes of inflation are multifaceted. It could be due to increased production costs, such as raw materials and wages. Or it could be demand-pull inflation, where demand for goods surpasses supply, causing prices to rise. Inflation doesn't just affect your shopping cart. It also impacts the broader economy. It can erode savings, decrease purchasing power, and even lead to economic instability. For instance, the inflation rate hit 5.4% in the US in 2021, its highest level in 13 years. This increase sent waves of concern among investors and sparked intense discussions about the health of the economy. Here's the kicker. Inflation can eat into the returns of your investments. If the inflation rate is higher than the return on your investment, you're essentially losing money. That's a tough pill to swallow, right? But hold on, don't press the panic button just yet. Inflation can also present opportunities for savvy investors. Certain assets like real estate and commodities often do well during high inflation periods. Inflation can eat into the returns of investors, but it's not all doom and gloom. Let's find out why. Economic stimulus and inflation, two sides of the same coin, but how do they interact? In the world of economics, few relationships are as complex and intertwined as that of economic stimulus and inflation. Economic stimulus, in essence, is a strategy employed by governments and central banks to boost economic activity. It often involves measures such as reducing interest rates, increasing government spending, or reducing taxes. On the other hand, inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising, and subsequently, purchasing power is falling. Now let's get to the juicy part, their interplay. The connection between economic stimulus and inflation can be traced back to a fundamental economic principle, the law of supply and demand. When a government injects money into the economy, demand for goods and services increases. But if the supply doesn't keep pace with this increased demand, prices rise, leading to inflation. A prime example of this can be seen in the aftermath of the pandemic, where massive stimulus packages were introduced worldwide. While these measures were necessary to keep economies afloat, they also led to increased demand, and with supply chains disrupted, inflation rates soared in various economies. So in a nutshell, while economic stimulus can provide a much-needed boost to a struggling economy, if not managed carefully, it can also lead to increased inflation. Understanding this relationship is key for investors to make informed decisions. So what does all this mean for investors? Well, let's boil it down. Economic stimulus and inflation are two sides of the same coin. These financial phenomena have a complex interplay that significantly impacts the investment landscape. The economy doesn't exist in a vacuum, and neither do your investments. Understanding the ripple effects of economic policies on the market can be the difference between a savvy investment and a costly mistake. Inflation, while potentially eroding the value of money, can also present opportunities for strategic investments. On the other hand, economic stimulus, while boosting the economy short-term, may lead to inflationary pressures in the long run. The key takeaway? Stay informed. Keep a finger on the pulse of economic trends, and use that knowledge to guide your investment decisions. Diversification, patience, and knowledge are your best tools in this ever-changing financial landscape. Invest wisely, and remember, knowledge is power in the world of investing.